Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Iowa soccer supporters. I'm Ben Brackett alongside my good buddy Blake Siebers. Siebes, how are you today?
I'm good.
Good morning.
Good morning. 2 morning pods in a row.
We've got the pot of coffee out to fuel the Titan tactician, Matt Sahag. Matt, good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you guys again.
Yeah, we're here to recap a little game of the week. Blake and I went to check out the Dowling Catholic Maroons take on the Iowa City West Trojans. A couple of squads that are generally there at the end of the season, right on the boys' side. We see them in the state tournament pretty regularly the past couple of years. Brad Stiles' squad there at Iowa City West is like a regular powerhouse. Even when they have a bad year, they still find a way to get there. And then Dowling, obviously, just kind of on the rise with Jackson Teeling. And they've got easily one of the best players in the state, if not the best, right?
Ooh, that's a good...
Easily one of the best,
That's a good
if not
tease,
the best.
though, for something I would love to hear this pod talk about is who is the best boys player, right? I've got 3 on my list right now. Mendez is one of them. I don't know if he's 1, 2, or 3. Tate Duax is another one, and then Landon Bench. I think in Central Iowa, I just don't know the eastern side or the western side, but I would love to see us do a feature on who's the best player in the state right now, because I think we've got a handful of really good ones.
Well, not to get too sidetracked.
Sorry.
No. That's great. I was just going to say one of the other players that we've talked about was Danny Fuentes, who goes to Iowa City West. He scored a nice goal last night, but I think was sort of largely held quiet overall. Like he wasn't. Mendez was like the central figure of the game. So let's just quick talk about the game though, Blake, before I get all fired up. Talk to us about the weather a little bit. Give us, what was the atmosphere like?
I mean, it's your typical...
It was Monday night.
Yeah, Monday, 7 o'clock kick as well, which is a little interesting. Usually they're at 7:30. So I don't know what goes into that. Maybe,
Probably
I have no idea.
traveling
School
for
night,
Iowa
maybe.
City West,
Yeah.
possibly.
But it was cold. It was, really, really windy. So windy, and this is interesting. Like the corner flags had the little weights on them because they're at the turf, like knocked over, and nobody picks them up, which I don't know, not a big deal. It's just that's how windy it was, and it was definitely, the wind was definitely favoring one team each half because it was coming out of the north there.
Well, Coach Sahag had a game as well. His girls' side took on the Des Moines Christian Lions. How was the win for you, Matt?
It was a factor in the first half, and then it died down in the second half.
I was going to say, it did seem a little bit like that.
We were fortunate to have the win in the first half, and then I thought the win was a factor in the first half, and then not a factor in the second half.
So we were
By the way, we won 4-1 last night.
Congratulations. That moves you to 4-4 on the year. No, just kidding. But they jump up to 4-2, and things are looking up for you guys. And you got a big Holy Week this week to recuperate?
Yeah, we do have the week off, and then we've got a really tough... I mean, the scheduling gets tougher from here. Just to give you a quick tease for all the listeners for who are going to be following Dowling Catholic girls.
So I'm sure there's so many of them.
Yeah, there will be a lot. We play next week Ankeny Centennial, who just knocked off the number 1 ranked team in Ankeny last night, 3-0.
Wow.
Which was a huge upset. And then we follow that up with Johnston, then followed by Waukee. So we have 3 top 10 matches in a row now, and then it doesn't get any more easy from there. So we've had a good start to the season, but it'll be a grind from here on out.
Well, that's the trick with Central Iowa and playing in the CIML is famously Brian Duax calls it the buzzsaw, right? Every team you play, boys or girls side, you're probably in for a pretty tough match. I don't know that's one thing that I think I don't know if the east side of the state has that same sort of like buzzsaw. I think you have to like work to get good games over there, it seems like. And obviously Iowa City West taking the trip all the way to Des Moines to get a good game in, and it definitely was a good game.
Yeah, and I mean, those guys at Iowa City West are awesome.
Yeah, we love those guys.
Sheffy and Stiles. And we've kind of wanted to do something for them, so I'm glad they came to Des Moines to play one of the top schools.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they didn't come to just get a win. They came to compete. So, I mean, that was sort of apparent straight away. An even game through the first half. Mendez scores a pretty decent little goal, and this is a little bit of a theme, right? The Iowa City goalkeeper, he's like the tale of 2 goalkeepers. A total stud, like 10 or 11 times. Made so many great saves, didn't he, Blake?
He did.
Like point-blank saves, breakaway saves.
Reaction saves,
yeah,
athletic.
But then on a couple of the goals, he struggled to judge the flight of the ball, and this is one where ball gets sort of like the reverse cross, where instead of it's like outswinging, it's in swinging. And Mendez does well to win the ball, but the goalkeeper kind of gets caught in no man's land. I think if he stands on his line right, Blake, he probably catches it without any concern.
Yeah, it hits him in the chest, right?
Yeah.
He comes out, Mendez beats him to it, and scores an open net, basically.
Now, the reality is, right, if you've got a goalkeeper like that, you prefer that he's aggressive versus timid, right? Because his aggressiveness helps him. You think he just maybe learns a little bit that, and we do also know that he's not a true goalkeeper, right?
I was just going to say that you should give a little background on him because
I'm pretty sure he's the running back on the Iowa City West football team. And freak athlete. We watched him play futsal this winter, and my goodness, he was stopping everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an important point. Think about that for a guy like that. He walks into, a really competitive game with, really good players in the field, and he keeps his team in it.
Yeah,
A top 4 or 5 team in the state as well, right? Like that's not just
right. So
if you think about, someone said this the other day too. Like, Iowa City West may have lost this game, and someone said this to me, and it looks like maybe they've dropped a couple early on, but traditionally, I think if you look at how things go, well, we know this because they're always in it, right? So if there's a learning process to be made in April for the goalkeeper or for some of these guys, and they're dropping a couple of matches early, like big deal, because it only matters where they're going to be in May. And from what you guys saw last night, and from what I've seen on the clips, nobody should feel secure about that game last night in terms of the two opponents, because I think
as far as the result goes,
either team could have each other's number on any given day, and it seems like that's just repetitive year after year. I still remember the quarterfinal game 2 years ago between Dowling and Iowa City West.
It's a great game.
Iowa City West beats Dowling, and Michael Nelson has a good game. So this is a huge rivalry match, even though it's from, or if it's not already, it's becoming one for a Central Iowa versus Eastern Iowa team. And I hope they keep on playing each other home and away every year.
Well, like you said, both teams have not got off to the best start. Right? Iowa City West beat Centennial, but then lost to Valley and Liberty. And then obviously
the Maroons also lost to Valley and
Urbandale.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it is. So, right, Ben, you just talked about, so Mendez scores to go 1-0 up, and then what, right?
Immediately after gets in on goal again, right? And he's free in on goal. And the goalkeeper, so I think it's Chris Mayumbu. He was wearing the 0. I'm sorry if I butchered your last name, Chris. But comes out with a great save. Just absolutely stuffs him. And it was one of those where, like, you go, well, okay, he did give up that last goal, but, like, easily could be 2-0 right now, and it's not.
I know, but Mendez probably should score that, though.
Well, and that was sort of, so Mendez did have a hat trick on the night, right? He probably could have scored 6 or 7 goals, right? He was in great scoring positions and in spaces where you expect him to finish it.
And then the game turns right before halftime.
Yeah, I think Iowa City West kind of played themselves slowly back in the game, and this is where Matt's got a great clip, right, Matt? Of the corner kick. Iowa City West gets a corner kick with maybe 30 seconds left on the far side of the field, which is notable because of when they score, right, Blake? Matt,
Why is that notable, Ben?
Well, let's let Matt talk us through it.
Sure. I'll
so
just
it's on the far side of the field, though, opposite from where the scoreboard is.
Yeah.
That's why it made
right with the clock ticking down from 10.
Correct.
Right.
And there's
So we don't. So it's a buzzer beater. There's no like light over the goal like you would have in a basketball.
Right. There's no countdown anymore. Usually they used to have a countdown where
is there no countdown?
They used to say like
the PA guy did not do a countdown last night.
All right. So Iowa City West take a short corner. What's interesting about that is there's only one Dowling player who comes out, right?
Multiple times, by the way.
This is something that Blake and I both talked about.
I'm curious what Carl and those boys are doing.
It's 2v1. It looks like Sullivan is coming as a second defender, but then they draw out a third Dowling player, right? So it's 2 versus 3. So this is where it gets super interesting. Ball gets played to the edge of the box. Iowa City West player shoots the ball. It looks like it's headed. It looks like it's headed to the side corner, but he strikes one of his own players. And so it gets knocked out of the box. Dowling's defending with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 10 guys inside the box. Gets knocked down. Dowling clears. It's sort of a half clearance, though. If this guy clears the ball 50 yards, gets the half's over, but he clears it probably 20. Ball gets knocked back into the box by Iowa City West. There's another half clearance on the header. Gets knocked down to 22's feet. Is this Fuentes?
No, 22's Thiago Gonzalez.
Okay, Thiago Gonzalez. And here's where the magic happens. He takes the ball, cuts it left by one Dowling player. Second defender comes in, takes a touch now with his right foot to set up the strike, and then strikes from just outside the edge of the R box and hits an absolute missile into the upper corner.
Yeah, it's a great goal.
So again, yeah. So you want to talk about, if you're just listening, pull up our YouTube channel because we've got the best editor, Killstrom Creative, has ever produced. He's going to be showing that while Matt's talking about it, and it does look really good.
Yeah, it's a great goal. So
he was just talking as well about it's very tedious to get these clips up. And so he's going to be working on that all day today to get that up. And so check our social soon.
So that, I mean, literally, right? It scores. There's no buzzer. There's no whistle. There's nothing. It scores. They celebrate, and we all look over to the scoreboard, and it's at 0. And there's no complaints from the Dowling group because I assume they also were staring at the goal and the ball, and they didn't see it. So it's just like this sort of anticlimactic end of the half where it's 1-1. And it just out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
So it was interesting. Check out our halftime interviews if you hadn't already, because we caught Jackson Teeling a little bit on the back foot as far as he asked him what his plan to chat about halftime was, and then Brad Stiles also as well. Like we were expecting Brad. I was thinking Brad was going to be fired up because they were down 1-0, and he has a tendency to be a little fiery, and he was in a great mood, so it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, he is. I can say we've kind of overheard a few halftime conversations over the years, and he gives one of the most encouraging, one of the most fired up ones, and gets into the kids, and they respond appropriately.
Yeah. Well, and that was the one halftime question that I didn't get to ask because he was in such a good mood was how you fire up some of your best players, including that Danny Fuentes, who we know to be a really, really good player. But it looked like he was sort of a passenger in the game compared to like how we've seen him play before, where he's dictating the game. But I remember like with Michael Nelson, right, at Iowa City West, we'd see him sort of same thing, sort of just observing the game, just participating. And we saw Stiles just I want to use some different words, but just really get into the boy. And he came out and scored 2 goals right away. It was like the best player on the field. So
that was in the semifinal. Wasn't that in the semifinal, given the state final? Yeah.
So I just think that's something that it'll be interesting to see how Stiles handles that. You know, Danny Fuentes committed to Drake already. So, I mean, obviously we're excited to see him and how he does. But yeah, I think it'll just be curious to see how the year progresses for him. And I think he goes into that list of names for potential top player in the state. And when we talk about Drake commits, right? Landon Benj, Ankeny, Hawks, he's a Drake commit. Who else we have? Mendez is not a Drake commit, but we've heard he's interested.
I hope so. I mean, let's give Flynn and Kyle, so Pat and Kyle, a shout out because
Drake coaches.
Yeah, these guys are going and getting these Iowa local guys, and I feel like that's been missing for a number of years now. Where it just seems like there's not a crop of Iowa guys we see showing up on the Drake roster. But I mean, we've got.
Jackson Kirsch in there. You've got Preston Knipsu now.
Stragi from Waukee.
Yeah, these guys are going after, and they're getting the best of the Iowa boys to stay in Iowa, and that's awesome. And I'm really encouraged to hear Benj is committed, Fuentes is committed. That's awesome as well. And then, I mean, Mendez, if you haven't made your decision already, get on that team because and hopefully you got a good package that's being offered to you. But like that's going to be a really solid college group. So
absolutely,
I'd love to see those guys staying local in Iowa and coming to Drake.
So let's jump back into the second half. I think we were expecting the wind to maybe play a factor, but it died down. Iowa City West, if I recall, who scored the third goal? Fuentes did. That was so it's 1-1. Kind of I would say sort of like a broken play in the box is really what it looked like. It was like a cross is bouncing around, and it just fell to Fuentes, and he reacted quickest and smartest and just slotted it home for a good goal, honestly. Not a good build-up, but a good
I think
finish.
You're right. Just he was the first one to react the quickest. He wasn't surprised, and there you go.
Yep. And so I honestly, the way Dowling was playing at that point, I thought the game was done and dusted. They were not in the game the way that they were in the first half, but they answered immediately, right?
Yeah, a little special skill and
Yeah, get it
flavor.
out to Mendez, and Mendez smashes it in the top corner. Well, I don't think we have that goal clipped out, but we'll
I haven't
go.
seen that one, no.
No,
that's-
so
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so
So
2-2.
and we're talking, right, with the new rule changes, man, it's going to be
Just going to end 2-2,
yeah,
right?
and
We'll
no
just-
extra
it'll just
time,
fizzle out.
no free soccer.
But neither team was really happy with that, right? They both were going for it. And so just to add to the drama, right, we talk about first five, last five. Obviously, Jackson Teeling and the Dowling Maroons failed at that in the first half. Their last five, they gave up a goal. That's never good. But they stuck with it all game, and Iowa City West punished by the thing that they punished with in the first half, right? A last-second goal. Matt, I know you clipped this one out. It's a nice long clip too, because you've got the lead up to it, right?
Yeah.
And then the actual goal itself. But so what? There's probably there's less than a minute left at this point, right? And they get a goal kick, deep in their territory.
Yeah, it's not a goal kick. It's actually in the run
kick.
of play.
Okay.
So I would just say, I mean, I'm sure we'll clip less than I think we'll probably show less.
Hopefully, Evan will show the whole clip.
I mean, what I would suggest is watch the last 5 minutes of the game, honestly.
Yeah.
So
Which,
because
shout out to Huddle Fan, check it out.
yeah, because you're going to get a flavor, I think, for who had the run of play and stuff like that. And what's interesting, in the last 2 minutes, Iowa City actually has the ball quite a bit. And it looks like they're holding possession. Dowling is kind of sitting in a little bit. But so then and I would say, to me, the difference here in the reason why Dowling ended up getting the game winner versus Iowa City is your target player, for sure. So
Josiah Crowder for Dowling.
yeah. So as you watch the play leading up to Dowling's last possession where they get the game winner, Iowa City actually has the ball. It's on the left. They're bringing it down the side, and the Iowa City left midfielder or the winger plays a ball directly into the center of the field where you would expect your target player to be, right? If the target player is there, Iowa City West has 3 other guys that are joining the attack that probably could have helped it on, but the target player is actually all the way in the channel. So the ball rolls all the way into Dowling's goalkeeper, and he picks up an easy ball. Now I think this is where the great decisions end up, right? So there's a minute 6 on the clock. So the goalkeeper's got a decision, right? Does he just hold the ball and let the players come up the field and then kick it? Does he punt it long right away? So what's great is this goalkeeper, you can tell as he's running to the ball, he's already made up his mind what he's going to do. He's got his left back that's peeling out wide. All the Iowa City West players are still moving forward, and so he rolls a quick pass out to the left back. Now, you guys give a lot of criticism to left backs. This left back, I don't know if he's left-footed or not, but
say we
he
criticize
does
left
he does
backs.
really well here. He takes a first touch, draws in the Iowa City West player, goes by him, and then keeps going. Mendez stays wide, and just moves up the field, and then Crowder comes across as the target player and gets the ball to his feet. And this is the next part I really like is Mendez's run, right? We talked about this a little bit off the pod, and this is something that I'm talking to the Dowling girls about all the time. Is when you play a pass forward, just follow your pass, right? And that doesn't mean or someone follow the pass.
Yep.
And it doesn't mean just running straight forwards of the ball. It actually means coming underneath the ball and just coming and getting it. And that's exactly what Mendez does. Mendez could have stayed wide and just asked for the ball wide beyond him, and he would have a poor angle to goal. But instead, he cuts inside. He goes blindside of the defender that's tracking him, and he literally runs right by Crowder, telling him, hey, you're going to play this ball to me. Crowder has 3 defenders going the wrong way. He steps on the ball, plays a reverse pass into Mendez, and Mendez is clean through. It's just him and the goalkeeper. Now, Mendez should finish this off.
Normally does.
Right. Again, we've got this goalkeeper who is, raw, but
Incredible.
yeah.
The save's amazing.
Gets his feet set. Mendez strikes a pretty good ball, and he goes low with his right hand and just gets enough on it to hit it out for a corner kick. It's
bear paws
fantastic
it.
goalkeeper play. Yeah, exactly. It's unbelievable. So And then you've got all the Dowling players like head on their like, oh my gosh, we've just drawn the game. We should have won it.
Yep.
And so, I mean, it's like, so it's like, how do you recover from that? And then the clock is ticking down.
Yeah. So Mendez hustles over, grabs it, sets it for a corner. And there's, again, maybe 20 seconds left at this point. Not quite the drama of the first half where you're scoring in the last second, but sends literally, we talked to the Dowling coaches after, and they have a very simple corner kick routine, and they were basically just playing to the back post. And I think getting on top of the goalkeeper, the wind catches it a little bit, but then there's maybe some not great decisions by the Iowa City West, sort of defending set piece team.
Yeah.
It's chaos, right? I mean, I think that's something that hopefully I think that'll be Styles. Like, hey,
That's the thing
calm
too,
down. And like,
that's the thing about the mistakes they make. They're all so easily fixable, and Styles is a good coach, so they're going to get fixed, right? But first mistake, right? Guy on the back post leaves his station. If
Well, I
you
think
will.
talk
I'd
about
call that the second mistake, but yes. That's a big one.
I think
Okay, fair
I mean, this
so
is
what's the first mistake?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and again, so these are simple fixes, and I think this goalkeeper will never make this mistake again. I don't think. And you want to talk about an athlete? Hopefully, we get a still in here as well. The ball comes in over the top. I'm not so sure he doesn't hit his head on the crossbar when the goalkeeper jumps.
He does misjudge it a little bit, but he can jump, man.
His starting position is wrong. He is the goalkeeper is 2 yards off the front post when the corner kick comes in, and so if he is in the middle of the goal or even one step back, he would have just clipped over the bar. He probably catches it. So his starting position is off. And so that's just got to be fixed where because he's got a near post guy as well. So, and it looks like Iowa City West defending zonally. And so they should basically clear a zone for him for if the ball comes into that zone, it should be his. But he's too far forwards, and that's why they get the game winner. So that's the first mistake. Second mistake then is what you noted.
Back post leaving his.
Talk about just how you guys just, I mean, because I noticed this on the weekend watching youth soccer. So, guys that stand on posts and like their body shape and where they stand. The number of guys that stand in front of it, that stand like on the outside of it, but they're quote on the post is.
So I was always taught to
interesting.
like hold the post, stay and stand basically in the goal so that you can see through the net where the ball is.
Yeah.
On the line.
On line. But then you're able to, like, the thought is you're coming forward to step out as opposed to reacting backwards.
So if you win the ball, where's the ball going to go?
Away, right? And you do not leave your post under any circumstances unless your goalkeeper says to go.
It's not
Right?
only, but it's not only so the person that on the post can see the ball. It's so the goalkeeper can see the ball.
Correct. That
like
too.
so like if you look at Iowa City West's guy in the front post, he is standing on the line, and it's hard because huddle, like the camera doesn't get it right away, but I think the goalkeeper is probably trying to look through the guy in the front post because he's outside the goal line. So I think if he takes a half step back, the goalkeeper's got a better view of it. But then the guy in the back post, I think that part of the problem for him then too is he probably can't see. So if he's inside the goal looking at the corner kick, he's going to be able to judge the flight of the ball. I think he sees the ball late, which is why he comes off his post. He misjudges it. But if he would have just stood on his post, that ball would have hit him right in the thigh.
Yeah.
So just I mean, those are simple fixes, but those are huge moments, right? With little fixes, that's the difference between winning and losing
Well,
the game.
little things make big things in a game like this. So
Yeah.
that's just like a little thing. You fix that, and again, right? It's 2-2.
What a recovery for Mendez as well. He goes from 0 to hero right away.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that showed to me when we're talking about who's a player to watch or who's one of the better players in the state. Like his attitude, like he oozes like confidence. I guess I don't want to use
He's
a
not short of
negative word. No,
confidence.
he's not short of confidence. But he also he didn't stop running. I've seen him before be a little less interested in the game, but he was working hard.
Yeah, right. As a sophomore, right? We noticed there
Yeah,
were
he
times
just
where he
needed
would
some time.
he was probably young, but he'd take moments off, and
Yeah.
he didn't last night.
Well, and you also wonder, he's coming off an ACL reconstruction and all that rehab and stuff that goes with it. I know from from my experience, that's not an easy thing to do. I think I was also a little older and fatter at that point, but Mendez obviously is hungry, and I think that is what defines a really good player a lot of the times, right?
Yeah. So Dowling, everybody was asking what was the score. Dowling wins 3-2 on a
Last second
corner Olympico.
Olympico, yeah.
It's the second one of the year for those guys too.
Is it?
I mean, they won on the half field shot
that's right.
kickoff as well a couple
right.
weeks ago. So some thrillers. I mean, if you want to see some exciting sports right now, you jump onto the Huddle fan and Iowa soccer is just producing some real. I mean, I was amazed too. Here's another shout out for our reels. Go check out goals of the week. What some unbelievable goals, right?
Really?
The first one is the goalkeeper scoring. I mean, by the way, if that doesn't win play of the week,
I would be shocked.
I will too. Like, I don't know.
It's a good goal.
It'd be interesting but the goalkeeper, it comes up. It's a wonderful header.
It's a good header.
It is a great goal. It just
There's
goes
always
off like
15 seconds left.
like
He
the
just
top.
flicks it
It's
on.
on
He
like the
just
top
kinda
of his
skips
head.
it.
But I mean, it's a great goal. I
think
love
he
he takes
means-
his
I think he
jersey
means
off
it.
too.
He
Like,
means it.
did he? I'd be curious
If he got booked.
if he got booked because he takes his jersey off. Like,
Yeah.
I love it.
So that means he's got to come. He's got to come out of the game in high school soccer, right?
Yeah.
As well.
But then, how about the goal from the Indianola boy, the Zlatan karate
yeah.
half
Karate chop.
flying side volley?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some good.
That's after the kid hits
hits the crossbar
first
from like
crossbar.
40 yards.
Yeah.
Oh, what a goal!
Yeah, so
I
check
think
those
there's
things
another
out.
good one too.
Yeah.
There was a third one too that's really good.
I'm sure.
I was just amazed at goals of the week. So again, jump on Huddle Van. But if you're just doing nothing on a weeknight right now, go find an Iowa soccer game, and you're bound to see some good stuff.
Well, some of our conversation last night after the game was around, we talked about maybe who the best player in the state is, but we also talked about what's the best team in the state, like who's standing out. And it seems like it's pretty even field right now.
It is. I mean,
Because everybody that you think you're like, oh, Dowling's got to be the best, and then you see them like get beat by Valley, and then you'd go like, oh, Valley's the best, and then they get beat by Ames, and then you're like,
So
although
big
Ames-
schools, I mean, if you want to talk bound power index, right? The rankings have not come out yet on the boys' side. I know the girls' side we've touched on that, which we can briefly. But the boys' side, power rankings is Ames at number 1. So actually overall. So
Ames is number 1.
Ames is number 1, Valley 2, and then old JoJo's got the South Side Lincoln Rail Splitters at number 3.
Does he really? Wow, 2 wide forwards. Ben,
Two
don't be
wide
too critical
forwards.
too early. I mean, that's great. I hope. I mean, obviously, it's fun to see some teams in the mix. Lincoln aren't there every year, so that's fun to see Joe's team.
I love
right
Ames
there.
as the number 1.
Me too. Like, they deserve to be too. They knocked off, Johnston and Valley, right?
Yeah.
So those are 2 big wins.
Though, and that Dowling plays Ames next week, and they've got a little history, right? At least recent history, playing in the state tournament, and I think that's going to be a tough one for the Maroons. I would guess that Ames will have a game plan to deal with Mendez, and that's the thing. We've talked about that a little
Where's
bit
that
too,
game
right?
being played? Ames or at Dowling?
I bet Blake will look that up really fast. But I was going to say it was interesting, like with Mendez and with some of these players that are considered the best player. Like nobody's going into a game and going to be surprised by Jonathan Mendez anymore, right? Maybe when he was a sophomore, they're like, "Who's this guy? Wow!" But all these guys that are like top players now, they're known when they go into the game. Like somebody like Tate Duax, he's probably flying slightly under the radar right now, but that's going to take 1 or 2 more games probably. Somebody's going to look and say, "Whoa, this kid scored double-digit goals after 6 games, 8 games, whatever." I mean, he's at 7 right now after 5 games, so like he's flying. But people might, as they start to know and they have a plan to just shut a single person down, it's always interesting to see how players deal with that.
Yeah, so you guys go back, not to go back,
go back
but your
to
schedule.
Ames-
So
Ames and Dowling.
Valley's got the Valley invite, if I can talk. Saturday the 19th is you got Iowa City West coming back in town to play Waukee Northwest, which is like, again, well done. For them
Styles really
coming.
wants his guys to get good games in.
Yeah.
And that's where you got Dowling and Ames playing as well,
That's the 19th.
the 19th.
This is weekend.
Yeah, Saturday, Easter weekend.
Perfect.
So then,
I got no games, so I think I'm going to go watch some games.
But then Iowa City West comes back in town again to play Southeast Polk in May.
Wow.
And then they play Johnston in Iowa City,
Wow.
Saturday the 26th. So
Well, maybe Styles is just seeing that, in order to get good games, he wants to get some Central Iowa flavor in.
I mean, I think that's smart. Like, I mean, as much as these games are exciting right now, what matters is what you look like in May.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and if you
So-
don't play good teams and don't learn and get better,
Yeah, absolutely.
good.
So
Some of these
one-
heartbreak losses, I think, will come back to benefit whoever is playing these tough games, and you're losing by one, even if it's a buzzer beater or whatever it is. There's a huge learning process in that, and so I think that's really going to benefit Iowa City West.
all right, Steves, what else you got?
I was just to say real quick, our pseudo Dowling inside source just shot us a message. It's interesting, but talk about a couple players for Iowa City West. That number 6, Liam. No idea how to.
Yeah,
pronounce
it
his
begins
name.
with a T.
Central midfielder.
Yeah.
He was really good at futsal, right, Ben, when they came in town, and then I thought he was good last night, and our guy liked him as well.
Tegan Empt. Sorry, Liam, if we're saying that wrong, but yeah, great player. I mean, I liked him when we saw him in futsal. I liked him last year. Smart on the ball, good technique,
Crafty, sneaky.
sees the game, plays has a good range of pass. Like,
And then
good
who
player.
was that? I don't know.
The number 17 was
17
the
is the-
wide player. His name is Mohammed.
Okay.
Sorry, Mo. I'm
Sophomore.
I'm gonna butcher it probably, but
Is he
I
the
think
kid
it's
from Dubai?
yeah, correct. El Tayeb.
Dynamic.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the one that I think started that. Was it their first or second goal?
think
Was the
the second
result of
goal.
his second was
Yeah.
him. So I liked him a lot as well. And then
Yeah.
obviously Fuentes scored a goal.
Yeah, and then what about the Maroons? Other than obviously we liked. It's hard to not like Mendez. Josiah Crowder was really good. That left-sided player who sort of started the first that third goal, I think, was Santi Ramirez. I thought the Ethan April, the right back, was pretty strong, or had a strong game at least. So a lot of good players.
Yeah, give a shout out to Sheffy as well. Don't forget about him.
Gotta give a shout out to our boy Aaron
we talked a lot
Sheffield.
about Styles, but his right hand man is Aaron Sheffield, old teammate of mine from Drake. Great guy, really good soccer coach, and
Super
so
passionate Iowa City West guy though. Like went to Iowa City West, and I always love it when these guys stay with their program or come back to their program.
Yeah, but I mean, it seems like he and Styles are a really good pairing in terms of coaching duo, and they got these guys in the last several years now, always ready to go when it matters. So
Let's just talk about his outfit, shall we? Iowa City West is green, right? He wore every shade of green from his pants to his top,
Except for Trojan Green.
Except, yeah, the worst outfit.
Well, Chef, just check the weather before you hop on the road, buddy. All right, well, so good long episode today. Lots to talk about. Shout out to TH Media for hosting us here in the studio. Shout out to Killstream Creative for all his excellent work that he's about to do. He hasn't done it yet, but he's going to do today. Thank you to the Titan Tactician. Best of luck during the Holy Week, getting your recuperation. Steves, what do you got for us?
That's it.
All right, we'll see you next week.